Why you feel like you're always on trial in your own relationships. Ah, yes, the exhausting emotional courtroom where you, my friend, are perpetually summoned to the witness stand, endlessly defending your intentions, explaining your tone, or justifying your need for basic respect. And what is your crime, you ask? Existing with boundaries, feelings, and the audacity to want consistency. Ah, the anthem of misplaced hope. Let's add this to your greatest hits. Why didn't you text back right away? Do you even care about me? Why are you always so distant, so loud, so quiet, so strong, so needy? This is not love. This is cross-examination. And your heart, it's not up for public trial. I'm Dylan Moore, author, cognitive behavior specialist, and devoted advocate for women's empowerment and men's emotional healing. In this discourse, let's unveil transformative strategies to restore your balance, reclaim your power, and anchor you in unshakable strength. Together, let's unravel the absurd social expectations that have long kept so many trapped in a labyrinth of self-imposed chaos, while exposing the inherited beliefs that gaslight us into self-doubt. And let's dismantle those emotional nonsense we've been conditioned to accept as normal. Now, let's look at why your relationships feel like cross-examination. If you constantly feel like you're being evaluated instead of loved, please consider the following. You were raised around conditional love. Affection was earned, not given. So now you subconsciously believe that love is something you have to qualify for. You learn that love meant walking on eggshells. If you were taught that someone's approval could disappear with the wrong tone or glance, you likely became a master of emotional diplomacy. You mistake emotional interrogation for intimacy. You've been trained to see control or criticism as proof that someone really cares. Spoiler alert, it isn't. You developed hypervigilance as a survival tactic. You're scanning every interaction for signs of disapproval because your nervous system is still playing defense. Now, subclinical insight on hypervigilance and relational anxiety. Therapeutically speaking, this is called relational hypervigilance, a trauma response often rooted in early emotional unpredictability. When caregivers were inconsistent, critical, or absent, your brain learned to stay alert for the next emotional ambush. This leads to distorted belief that you must prove your worth or anticipate disappointment to avoid rejection. In CBT, we work to challenge these assumptions and rewire those reflective thought patterns. Let's examine the hidden cost of always feeling that you're on trial. If love feels like a performance, when do you get to rest? If your value is always being questioned, how do you ever feel secure? If peace makes you feel anxious, is it truly peace or just unfamiliar territory? If you're constantly proving yourself, who benefits from your exhaustion? Because here's the scandalous truth. Love should never feel like a performance review. Here's how to step out of the old emotional courtroom. Stop defending your basic needs. Wanting clarification, affection, or respect, it isn't too much. It's human. Notice who makes you feel safe and who makes you feel small. Safety doesn't question your every move. Challenge the belief that love must be earned. You're already enough. The courtroom is a construct. Burn it down. Practice internal validation. When you trust your intentions, you don't need to explain yourself to those waiting for you to mess up. Release relationships that thrive on guilt. If someone only feels close to you when you're on the defensive, that's not intimacy. That's called manipulation. And now, a deliciously liberating revelation. You are not a defendant. You are not on trial. And this is not an audition. You were not born to be palatable, pleasing, or perpetually apologizing. You were born to be loved without a closing argument. So tell me, who benefits when you believe you must constantly prove yourself? And more importantly, who might you become when you stop? Drop a like or comment below. Please, let's normalize unconditional love. and let the radical act of no longer defending your right to exist be normal. Together we rise, together we thrive. Let's rise fierce into a new life of personal power and freedom.